guys, welcome back to At Home with the Frasers. So this is Life Update Part 2. If you watched our last vlog, which was a day in the life of a stay-at-home mom, and you saw me doing some cooking, cleaning, and homeschooling, it was also a life update vlog. And at the very end, as I was telling you guys that we were super excited about having another baby, and that I was beginning to experience a little bit of difficulty, I was not able to finish the vlog. So not because I did not want to, but I just was not able to. And so I took some time and finished out Life Update Part 2 so that we could go ahead and finish sharing what had been going on. So this is a very transparent moment for us and our family, and I hope that you guys enjoy the vlog, and I hope that you find it to be helpful to you or someone that you know. And thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys later. Enjoy the vlog. So, going to a new OB, knowing like our history and all that with our, and all of that with our previous babies and pregnancies, it was a little scary, almost daunting for me, because you just don't know what to expect, and you want everything to be okay, and you're at a different stage of life, and you already have 3 children at home that you're taking care of. So it's like, oh, okay, how do I navigate trying to stay being healthy, or trying to stay healthy, and stay in the moment with the children you already have at home and with your spouse and your other responsibilities, and then also making sure that you stay healthy while you're pregnant. So it was just, it was a lot. And all mommies out there that already have kids at home and you're pregnant, I know that you definitely understand that it's a lot to try to go through and balance. So as I started going through, hey baby, you cannot have ice cream. No ice cream. It's time to go to bed. You need to go get back in the bed. But you ate your food. It's time to go to bed. Can you have what? You don't hear this. You ate your food, sweet pea. Sweet pea. You want a hug and a kiss? Sure, you can come get a hug and a kiss. Yeah. She didn't come all the way downstairs say that she wants a hug and a kiss. Don't trip on that. Be careful. Make sure you step over. Can you give me a hug and kiss? Can I hug? Thank you. Love you. Say night night.
Night night.
Good night.
Night night.
You're so cute. All right, now go get in bed. Watch your step. Watch your step. Night night. So, balancing being a mom, being a wife, being pregnant, it was just, I think the task felt very daunting. So, going to my appointments, doing all of the things, and I would be tired a lot, and I would also be, as I progressed, I started being in, like having a lot of pain and almost cramping like feeling at times, and spotting and other stuff. And I had gone to the doctor a few times for like in between visit appointments, because I was like, this just does not feel right. And they're like, oh, baby is healthy and strong and doing great. We're checking things out. It's okay. Blah, blah. And I'm like, are you sure? Because this doesn't feel like it's okay. And if you know me, I am an advocate. I advocate for, children with disabilities and veterans and, other things as well that are important to me. And looking back on it in hindsight, this is something where I feel like I wish I had more of a team of experts or something around me to help me advocate for what I knew I was feeling, because I really feel like I wasn't fully being heard. Um, and I don't know if they could have done anything different, but I know that, I knew what I was feeling. And so the week leading up to everything that happened, I had been working a lot. I don't know if I've mentioned, I believe I've mentioned before that I am a realtor, so I'm a licensed salesperson, realtor. And I had multiple appointments that week of listing appointments. I think I had like 4 or 5 that I had that week. And as I started to have more pain, I was like, okay, I'm not going to drive. I'm, going to just sit in the seat. So my husband would, take me to the appointments and bring me back home and bring me where I needed to go that week. But it just was not getting better. So I had another appointment. They checked everything out again. They're like, no, it's fine. And I said to them, I said, I feel so uncomfortable. I feel like I'm having like early labor pains. And I've been in labor before. I was in labor with my twins. I was in labor with my daughter. Like, I know what labor feels like, and this doesn't feel right. And they were like, that was a Wednesday. And they're like, well, you have an appointment, on Monday. Let's, kind of, go through the next couple days. If you're not feeling well, you can go to the ER, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, you did another ultrasound, you've done this. If he's looking okay, then okay. And by that Sunday, I was not feeling well. I was very tired. My body felt very exhausted. I felt very drained. I felt like when I would take steps, I was just uncomfortable. I had actually called and spoke with my doctor, and I brought up, I said, well, what if, I'm going into labor, because this really, I've had similar issues before. I feel like something else needs to be done, and it just is not feeling right. And he was like, well, you can go to the ER, but if you're going into labor at this point, unfortunately, there isn't anything that we will be able to do. You would just, be going into labor. And I'm like, are you sure there are not any other options? Because I just don't feel comfortable. And he was like, well, just try to lay down and rest. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do my best to lay down and rest, which was very difficult to do with 3 children. But I did my best to lay down and rest, and my best was not enough. So by that night, I had gone into full labor. Like, my contractions were terrible. I was in so much pain. It hit me hard and heavy and fast. And, by the time 911 and the police, walked into the house, I was delivering our son in one of our bedrooms upstairs. And it was just terrible. It was terrible because, our children were here, so they did not see me push their brother out. But they did hear me screaming. They did know that Mommy was in pain. They did know that something was wrong. They did know that something was wrong now with their brother, that may hurt their brother. And it was very scary. So it was scary for myself. It was scary, for my husband as well, for our children. But it was not, it was not an experience that I would like to ever want anyone else to have to go through. So he was born very early that Monday morning. And this is my 4th time trying to talk about this on the video, because I actually I tried to talk about it before and couldn't. I ended up discarding the video because I was just, a crying person. But it was really very difficult, to say the least. It's been very difficult. So I was in the hospital for a few days after that, and mentally, mentally it's just, recovery. It's kind of like a day-by-day, moment-by-moment thing. So I could not move forward with anything for a long time. I was like, I can't, prior to that happening, prior to our baby boy passing, I already wasn't feeling well, so I had taken a step back from certain things, and then I was trying to pick them back up because I was like, oh, well, I should be fine now. But I just took a step back from everything. I stopped doing anything in real estate for a while. I just kind of stopped because I could not. It just felt like my heart had been ripped out. But I couldn't act as though my heart had been ripped out because I still had, my other 3 children that I still needed to be there for. And as a mom, as a parent, that's very difficult when you are mourning and grieving and you still have to be present and be there. You don't get to, take a day off necessarily. You don't get to just take weeks off from them and be like, oh, I need to gather myself. No, you still have to be a parent. So in some ways that's helped me because it helped me like, okay, I've got to continue to show up in life every day. And in some ways not so much because you're, dealing with things as you can, which is, I guess, can be good when you compartmentalize to a degree. But it's been really difficult. So the kids are doing well. They ask about their baby brother often. So my son, I remember, he's actually said this a few times now to different people that we didn't know, where he said, oh, my baby brother is in heaven and I was going to share my room with him, but he's in heaven now, but he's doing really well in heaven. And then my daughter will ask about him, like, oh, can he see us? My son's twin will ask about my baby boy, and she'll say, is he looking down on us from heaven? Can he see us? How is he doing? And she'll ask me how I'm doing, which I think is like really sweet. She'll ask me if I'm okay, just randomly, and then my youngest daughter, who's only 3, will even say, oh, I have a baby brother and he's in heaven. And they talk about it. They actually talk about it with another couple that we're friends with whose child passed away, that she went to labor early. And so they've talked about it with her child too. And I think that's healing for them too. Like, other people have gone through this and there are other people whose siblings are in heaven. And, one day, a long time from now, we'll see him again. So that's kind of like our conversation. And it's comforting knowing that. It doesn't necessarily always make it easier. So I've really taken the last 10 months or so and just said, okay, no, no to a lot of different things. Because I knew that I would have to talk about my son, and I love talking about my son. I talk about him to anybody who will listen. But at times it's not easy to do, so it's comforting in knowing that he's in heaven and I'll see him one day, prayerfully a long time from now when I'm much older. And it's comforting knowing that I have a part of him with me because I actually have an urn that I wear. I don't know if you can see it. Try to look there. Yeah. So I have an urn that I wear daily in remembrance of him. I have another urn as well that I have as a necklace, and then we have one in our bedroom that's a heart with it looks like the world. It's the shape of a heart. It's got footprints on it. So we have that one as well in our room, with some other keepsakes that we have. So the basket that he was in from the hospital, we have that basket, and we have some of the little stuffed animals that my mom and sisters gave to us, that I have pictures of him with. So I have like a little memorial area set up for him in our bedroom, and we're working on a memorial area in our garden for him. Slow but steady process. As an area that's just for baby IJ. And so it's nice having those things to be like, he's here and he's part of us. And one of my best friends made me this bracelet. I don't know if you can see it, but it's got an angel on it and baby footprints. And I had other friends who gave me beautiful things to add to my Pandora, in honor and remembrance of my son. And within a week and a half or so after he passed away, I was blessed enough to, prior to that, when we were in the hospital, I was blessed enough to be able to actually, hold him and kiss him, for those days that I was there. And I kept him in the room with me, and I held him and I kissed him. And it was nice to be able to have that time with him, and to be able to have pictures of me holding him and kissing him as a nice memory, as a nice keepsake of, at least I got to hold my son. At least I got to kiss my son. And one day I'll be able to hold him and kiss him again. And it's difficult. I think it definitely wasn't, it's not the hardest, but one of the things I remember about the time in the hospital was leaving the hospital. So the other times when you're leaving the hospital, you leave with your child. And so I was not leaving with my child, and having to, get wheeled out of the room and then pass by and see where he was as they were, putting him back to be taken to the funeral home, and having to leave him there. That was just so incredibly difficult. And once we made it to the lobby, I remember someone was coming in, and the maternity areas, wheelchairs are always pink. And I don't know how I was looking. I have no idea, but this woman had passed by. She was like a woman and a man and someone else. I couldn't see who it was, and I don't remember. And they kind of looked over at me, and they were like, we're sorry for your loss. I guess they could tell. I don't know. But leaving the hospital that day, knowing that I was leaving without him, was just like a ton of bricks. Because even though I knew it was real prior to then, I think actually being there at the hospital and holding him and kissing him was comforting, so it was hitting me, but it wasn't hitting me as hard because he hadn't been taken from me yet, in the sense that I wasn't going to get to hold him anymore, if that makes any sense. So, and it's just crazy how your mind works, because I remember when they were first bringing him to me, and the way the nurse was holding him, it almost looked like he was moving, and that might have been the medication they had me on, the pain medicine. And I was like, is he okay? Is he breathing? And, she looked at me and she was like, no baby, he's not breathing. And then I had to kind of like come back to like, no, Tegan, he's in heaven already. And I think God allowed me to have a little comfort for the time that I was there in the hospital, to be able to hold him and kiss him and love on him. But it really did, you know, it hit hard when I was being wheeled out of the room I was in and having to go past him and leave him there, knowing that I wasn't gonna get to come back and get him, that he wasn't gonna come home with me. And that part did not fully register in my brain until that happened. And I thought that I would be, you know, okay, in the sense of, I know what has happened. I've been crying, I've been kissing him, I've been hugging him and loving on him, like I'm okay. But I did not know how not okay I was until I left out of that hospital. That was just a whole nother, that I don't even know how to explain that. But I'm thankful that I got to hold him and I got to kiss him, because not everyone gets to hold their child and kiss on them. You know, so I'm thankful that I got to have him in my arms. And we had a really beautiful ceremony for him. We had a balloon release ceremony, and so many people came. People that I wouldn't have even thought came. You know, in honor of him. And our pastor came and said, you know, he spoke so beautifully and had a great prayer for us as a couple and as a family and for everyone that was there. And it was just such a beautiful, moving time. And I'm grateful that we got to have that too. But it's just not been easy. I have my times definitely where I kind of break down, and then you know, I pray and ask God to help me, and you know, I keep trying to, you know, okay, take my time, whatever that may be, however much time that is that I may need. I try to take that time and I pray and do whatever it is that I need to do, and move forward. And then if I need more, if I need to do something else, then that's what I do. But that has been what's happened for us in, you know, in this last year, from finding out we were pregnant last year and being excited and bringing a new baby into the world, to losing him very unexpectedly in a very, you know, intense manner, and just trying to get through that process as a family. So my husband grieves in his own way. He's talked to me about that, and I grieve in my own way, and I think everyone grieves differently. But it's been difficult, to say the least. So, on a very sweet note, it's very comforting and nice, because when I'm thinking really heavily about my son, a song will start to play in my head. And that actually started happening like right when I think was leaving the house. I wasn't in the ambulance. No, it was after I got to the hospital. And, you know, I was crying and whatnot. And I think after I stopped crying, that first early morning that I was there, a song started playing in my head. And it is not a song that I really sing. I know the song, but it's not a song that I'm like, you know, listening to, bebopping around in my head all the time. And as the song started playing, I just felt very at ease. And then I just got this image of him being in heaven. And I said, oh my goodness, God, you know, is this sure, you know, you're letting me know that he's there in heaven with you. And this is the way for me to know that it's okay, that he's okay, and to be comforted. And it is honestly just a beautifully blessed thing, because whenever my feelings start to just overload and it's just so much, that song will just start playing in my head. It's like I could hear it. It seems like it's almost as loud as the radio is playing it, and it's like, okay, you're talking to me, you're telling me it's okay, you're okay. And I appreciate that. So that is what has been going on in our lives. We have just been trying to reconnect as a married couple who's lost a child in a traumatic way for our family, and reconnect as parents to children who've lost a sibling, who understand at varying levels like what that means, and grow and be better from there. And it's not been a short order. At times we do better than others. And it's just a process. So that's where we've been. We have been in our own cycle of grief and movement within our family, and just putting that back together. And talking about it at various times definitely helps. It's nothing that we are trying to hide or ashamed of or anything like that, because we love our son and we honor our son. And I actually spoke on a local news network we have about losing him, and just about how I wish I had the opportunity of maybe having a team of people around me, like, a midwife or a doula or something like that maybe could have helped advocate for what I was feeling and what I knew I was going through. And maybe that would have caused, had a different outcome. So we do talk about him, and we do honor him and love him. It was difficult, I think, putting that in the space of, creating a video to share, because it was just, this is a lot more intimate, I feel, with being able to share everything. But I'm hoping that my story helps someone else in knowing that, you did nothing wrong, and you have lots of people who love you and support you and will continue to love you and support you in whatever way it is that you need it. Sometimes you have to make sure that you're vocalizing whatever that need is, and that your baby is okay, that your baby is in heaven. And it may be painful, and not maybe, it is painful, emotionally, mentally, and you can use that pain to continue to push you to new levels and growth in life. And knowing that it's okay to still be sad, it's okay to be sad, it's okay to miss your baby, it's okay to love them, all of that. Like, you're a mom, you're entitled to have all of those feelings, and you should have them, and you should embrace them. And if you need to take time for yourself, do that. If you need to write about it, do that. Whatever it is for you that you need to do to continue your own healing, then that's what you have to do. So that's what I'm doing. That's our journey. That's our story. So our family, we are, I say that we are a family with 6 children. We have my 2 bonus children, and my husband's oldest children, and my husband and I have 4 children together. So we've got our twins, baby girl, and baby IJ that's in heaven. So I appreciate y'all as you all are along this journey with us. This year has not been the easiest year. I think for a lot of different reasons for different people, you know. For us, we have our own reason. So we're just still on this journey together and trying to regroup and reconnect and grow from there. And it's definitely been a process. It's definitely been a process. And I miss my son all the time, all day, every day. I'm very thankful for having him for what I did. So that's all. That's where we've been. Thank y'all for listening to me. I hope I wasn't rambling too much. If you know me, you know that I am not a big crier, but I do cry. And I wanted to go into this and talking about our journey. And I wanted it to be, for the end of it, to really be positive, because we are moving as a family forward. Like, we're moving together as a family, we're moving together as a family unit, and we are growing together from the pain and hurt that we still feel that we're going through as a family. And I pray that God allows us to continue to do that, and that we continue to grow together as a family, and that God continues to heal us and heal our hearts when we're really hurt and down, as He has been doing. So anyway, I so appreciate you guys for joining me today in my day in the life vlog, catch up, recap of what's been happening in our world. I appreciate love, lots of it that was shown over on Instagram when I kind of briefly talked about baby IJ passing and just how I feel as a mom. So I'm sending you guys lots of love. So if there's anybody out there that has experienced what I experienced or more, you know, or if you're currently experiencing it, you know, I'm definitely praying for you, and I'm definitely here because we're on this journey together. So I am going to go ahead and head to bed because it's very late, and yeah, it's late. So anyway, thanks guys so much for watching. I appreciate y'all's love and support. Don't forget, if you like the video, hit the like button, share and subscribe with your family and friends. And thanks again for joining us. Y'all have a good night.